Before the first question drops at 7:30, we're going to do what we usually do in front of political meetings. We'll all rise. We're going to do the Pledge of Allegiance led by Jennifer Albertson.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Our Texas flag. Honor the Texas flag. I pledge allegiance to thee, Texas, one state, under God, one and indivisible.
Not till I'm free.
Okay, the excitement is rolling. I can see a very good attendance in live. Those of you who are watching us online, welcome. Once again, I invite everybody here to restream this on your own personal pages and YouTube channels and everything you've got. Let's make as many people have the opportunity to see this event tonight as possible. And let me thank our sponsors. We have about 2 minutes before the first question drops. Let's thank our sponsors and start with the people whose idea was to have this forum in the first place, and they are the people that are actually responsible for the real election happening on March 19th for the new party chair. So that is the Senate district chairs. There are 8 of them. Give them a round of applause. And then I'm going to tell you their names. So SD Senate District 4 is Philip McNutt. SD 6, Yolanda Adams. SD 7, Sarah Syed. SD 11, April Lance. SD 13, Vincent Sanders. SD 15, Melissa Tolleson. SD 17, Lynn Greenwood. And SD 18, Dwight Ford. So thank you very much to them for sponsoring this event. But we also had a lot of co-sponsors. And one is, and especially for people online who may not be on the inside baseball of things here in Harris County, a consortium of clubs and organizations from around the county who have formed a pact called the Clubs in Action. Sorry, of course I blanked there. Also are a major co-sponsor. In fact, they were going to hold their own debate and decided to unify behind this one event so that we have as many eyeballs as possible on this one event. And the funny thing is they had asked me to be the moderator of that debate too. I was happy to give these people, you know, a little bit of a push for 2 times in a row, but they said making them sweat once was enough. So we have this one good unified event tonight. We also have separate clubs that did a lot towards tonight's event. One of them is the Kingwood Area Club, whose former president, Egberto Willies, is the one who's streaming everything for us tonight. He has a radio show, progressive radio here in town, called Politics Done Right. So thank you, Egberto. And leading the team that is going to be going through all of the audience questions and sending them up to me on my iPad is the current president of the Humble Area Democrats and his team from Humble. So thank them very much. By the way, Egberto and John are both precinct chairs, so they'll be here voting, and they were going to be here anyway tonight, but decided to help work, so thank you to them. And I saw a nice forum last Friday night that the Young Democrats of Harris County put on. Definitely want to shout out to them. They have been a big part of this process. And if there are any Young Democrats in the house tonight, can you stand up? Young Democrats. Any Young Democrats? So I'm going to ask y'all to do us a favor, since most of y'all probably aren't precinct chairs. If y'all can man the aisles and look for people to hold up their index cards. Precinct chairs have been given index cards to write their questions. Just hand them off to one of these Young Democrats, and they'll be walking around through the duration of the next hour and a half. So with that said, let's go ahead and introduce by name the candidates. I'm going to let them each say their names to you, and then we're going to get started. And I'm going to tell you the rules of the game and everything, but first, let them each say just your name, nothing more. And we'll start seat number 1.
Mary Elizabeth Mosley Clayton.
Yeah, you're probably going to have to get a lot closer to these mics the way they are. Yeah.
Good evening, I'm Mary Elizabeth Mosley Clayton.
Good evening, all. Mike Will.
Good evening, Sylvia Means. Good evening, I'm Dr. Charlotta Anderson King.
Excellent. Okay, so now for the duration of this event, I would ask you to withhold any emotion at all. Pretend to be from the other party, don't have emotion. And part of that is because if you explain through emotion, applause, or booing, or whatever, someone's answer, then the people after them will have a hint as to what to answer or not to answer. So keep it fair, and if y'all will help me out with that, and plus the people online, they just hear a lot of reverb when we clap or yell or do anything. So we'll just keep it completely silent. Don't give any of these people an inch up here. They want to feed off your energy. Don't give them any energy. And trust me, I feed off my own voice, so I don't need your energy. I love it. I'm fine. We'll do good. I'm going to tell you all now the rules of the debate, the forum. So it's very simple. Every single question we have tonight, you'll get 30 seconds to answer, which is an impossible task, I tell you, and I want to express to all of y'all how interesting it is that y'all have all signed up for this incredible job that no one could possibly do, and I'll explain what that job is in a second. But the fact that you've done it tells me you're all crazy, and I'm not sure that we should vote for any of them, because you don't want a crazy person running things. But the rules of the debate, 30 seconds. If you mention any opponent by name, that opponent will get 15 seconds to answer in addition to their 30 seconds of time. Other than that, it's a pretty straightforward thing. I'll ask a question, you'll sweat a little bit, and then you'll answer, and we'll go on. Okay? Pretty good? We're going to start, however, in a traditional way through my format of debates, which is that we're going to have a lightning round. So we're not going to start with what some think is the traditional way, which is an introduction by the candidates that talk about themselves for a minute or two. Instead, through the course of this forum, you're going to learn about the candidates, and at the very end, they will have a concluding statement of 2 minutes. So at the very end of the hour and a half, you'll each have 2 minutes to conclude. We're going to start with the lightning round. The lightning round is a series of questions that you can only answer in 1 or 2 words. No real phrases, no explanations. As soon as you start to do something like that, I'm going to cut you off. I am the official timekeeper of my own forums. I have the stopwatch. When my hand goes in the air, please stop, respect the time, and we'll move forward like civilized people, and we'll get the most number of questions in. Throughout this time, again, turn in your questions. At the end, the first hour are my questions and my questions alone. No one has fed me a single one of these questions, and so my first master's degree is in management. My area specialty is human resource management. When I do these, I tend to think of them as an HR interview done in public. So you're going to hear probably not the easy questions like how many ping pong balls does it take to fill a school bus? That's too easy. The other one that might be too easy for this crowd is, convince us that your religion is the only right religion. But we probably won't do those easy questions. So are y'all ready? We'll start with number 1. The next question will start with number 2. The third question will start with number 3, and so on. And we'll just go in a round robin fashion. Okay, number 1. What voting precinct do you live in, and who is your precinct chair?
I live in precinct 747, and I am the precinct chair.
Okay.
133, I don't know who my current precinct chair is.
Sylvia, precinct 509, and my precinct chair is Gloria Moreno.
I'm in Harris County. I don't know my precinct chair. I am here to make it happen.
Okay. Next. Name any precinct chair who would vouch for you. Not necessarily endorse you, but who would vouch for you.
Almeida Den.
Deborah Adams.
You need to make sure you tell them they have to have permission to use people's names.
Okay.
Anna.
Okay. Name a campaign staffer that would vouch for you.
Miss Pimper with County Judge Leader Hidalgo.
A campaign staffer who would vouch for you.
I would say all of them because I spearhead most of the majority of Harris County.
Okay, no explanations. These are one or two word answers. Yes, a campaign staffer who would vouch for you. Okay?
Diana Patino.
Okay. Name a member of the AAPI, American Asian and then Pacific Islander community who would vouch for you. An AAPI who would vouch for you.
I will pass on that question.
Okay.
Ravi Sanders.
Go ahead.
Gene Wood.
Okay. Back to you. Name a Hispanic activist who would vouch for you. Name a Hispanic activist who would vouch for you. Okay.
Ralph Vasquez.
Leonora Sorola Portman.
I would pass on that.
Okay, next. Name an activist from a religion other than your own who would vouch for you.
Ali Kandir.
Pastor Daniel Melendez.
Ms. Shakur.
I'm not sure. Pass.
Okay. Name a black activist who would vouch for you.
Carl Davis.
Carl Davis.
I don't know any Houston.
Any black activist, not say precinct, just any black activist.
Christian Menifee.
Okay, for this next one, I need you see a poster in front of you and a marker in front of you. You're going to write down your answer. There's a big white poster right in front of you. It should be right there, or just share it. That's okay, you can share. Okay, you're going to write down your answer, and when it's your turn, you'll pick up your poster so that the audience can see what your answer was, so you can't change your answer based on whatever everybody else says. Okay, and I believe it's to you now. Is that correct? Yes. Okay. What should the Harris County Democratic Party annual budget be? Everybody write down what you think the annual budget should be. Write down that number. Giving everybody time. This is almost one of those sing the Jeopardy song moments. If we're all ready, okay? You have a number? Sylvia? Okay, this is meant to be fast. Write down the number. Okay, go ahead and answer, or we're going to have to skip you. Just answer.
Okay, so for July 2023 to July 2024, 1.2 million.
Okay, next. Go ahead.
$1 million.
$1 million? 1.5?
It should be 1.7.
1.7, okay. Now, next question is to you. President Biden comes to Houston for a big public event, but he also wants a photo op with the county chair and one person of your choice. Who is that third person, and where do you take the president to lunch to represent Harris County? Are you ready? Go ahead.
Well, President Biden came to Houston and he wanted a third person in the photo. I would recommend myself.
No, it's a photo with you as chair and one other person. So
It
who's
would
the other
be
person?
Mr. Gerald LeBeau.
Okay, and where would you take him to lunch?
I would take him to So Good because
Okay.
that food is.
You don't, no explanations, then just tell me that.
I would invite my Senate District Chair, Philip McNew, and we would go to the Breakfast Club.
Okay.
My wife. And Memphis, because she's very picky.
I will invite the hardest working precinct chair in Harris County, and I will take him to Irma's.
Okay. Now we are on to the questions of the night. So the questions, and I think it starts with you at this point. 30 seconds to answer these questions. Remember, when my hand goes up, please stop. Okay. Highly qualified judges lost regional elections because of small and rural counties. What experience do you have working with Democrats in rural Texas counties, and how will your administration win those seats? Or should we just expect to lose all regional and state seats until Harris County gets its house in order eventually?
Well, I'm actually from a rural county in Texas, Rains County. I was working with the party there with my father all of my life. I think that we need to educate our voters there and get them to the poll and make them understand how super important it is to go and vote and represent rural Texas. Their vote does count as a whole.
Okay, go ahead.
I'm not blaming anybody but Harris County, honestly. I mean, it's our numbers that make the difference. Fort Bend County, where I was raised, obviously does its part, but we're the big dog and we got to do our part. We're the only county other than Fort Bend that went down in our turnout. And so the bottom line is we got to get our numbers up. I know these judges, we need to keep them.
So I had the opportunity to work with several rural counties this past election because I was helping with a statewide election. And I have come to realize that there are many Democrats in hiding on those rural counties. And we need to reach out to them and ensure that they know that there are resources for them to work with and that we are ready to come in and help. And of course, we need to incentivize them to really work the polls.
Okay, I would most definitely look into targeting our younger millennium crowd. The reason why is because right now they feel like their vote don't count. And I think that we most definitely need to get them active so the numbers can go up and we can make it happen.
Okay, next one's to you, Mike. A leading national Democrat recently swept through town and picked up about $500,000 from Harris County bound for DC. Your reaction, how would that help us, and how will you handle those requests in the future?
I'm not going to put it, you're not welcome to Texas. That would be right. But I'd say this, I mean, I'm very familiar because I know for a fact a lot of trial lawyers should give a ton more to national candidates than down here at home. And they do it because they don't trust that it's going to be used effectively. And so what we do is get our house in order, get our finances in order, and let them trust us to do our job.
We need to ensure that we have a transparent budget and that the people in Harris County see the work we are doing so that they trust us and they are willing to give us the money. Now, of course, we need to ensure that people know our plans and see us executing those plans so that then they come and open their pockets to us. And we have to have a campaign where we incentivize everybody to leave their money here and not export it to other states.
I think we need to most definitely take a look at organizing and getting a budget, getting together a plan, and then make it a goal, and then we achieve that goal. Because without any type of goals or budgets that's set in, we won't be able to accomplish anything. We can't work for free. And we have to get those funds in so we can most definitely make things happen, make dreams become a reality.
Okay, Sylvia, the next one's to you. The Harris County Republican Party recently had their annual, I'm sorry, I skipped one person. Okay, go ahead.
Okay, charity. I feel like charity starts at home. The only way that we can keep our money in-house is that we build confidence in our party amongst our members. As a grassroots organizer, once we start organizing and building confidence and backing our precinct chairs and backing our communities, and they see that we're supporting them and we support our members and we support our precincts and we support our party, that people will put their money here and we will be able to spend that money the way we need to.
Okay, I apologize. Sylvia, you're up next. The Harris County Republican Party recently had their annual fundraising dinner. In one night, they raised around $1 million. It is quite possible this means they have a few more dollars in their bank account than we do right now. Under your administration, how fast will we get to our first $1 million, and what in your experience would lead us to believe that you're the one who could actually achieve that?
Well, we have to get to the first $1 million in the first year, and actually and my goal is to raise more than that. I have a goal of raising $250,000 on my first 100 days, and that I'm going to achieve by calling my friends. Many of them have committed to donate already. I also have been reached out by people who believe in me and that know about the work that I can do and have committed to have their organizations donate to the body. Of course, we need to have a successful JRR.
And I apologize, my phone rang.
My goal would be to come in the first year and raise estimated about $2 million. That would come from us doing fundraisers, activities, also some philanthropists that I do know that I'm involved in. I deal with a lot of people, celebrities, so I'll most definitely have them to come in and donate and give for the budget and the goal and make it happen. So most definitely.
I think that it would be ideal to raise $1 million in the first 6 months. I think that we can focus on our events, we can focus on our community members, on our contributors, we can focus on our blue business owners, we can focus on even our membership starting to give more, starting to donate, starting to become sustaining members, because they are building their confidence in our party.
Three ways right away. One, we've dropped sustaining by 25%. Two, those folks I was telling you about, they're giving money. If we get our house in order, I expect they'll start giving us money because we can show them, for example, this is going to be for a professional executive director. Three, we've got some events that really are underperforming, including the JR. That needs to happen. I've raised at least $100,000 every cycle since 2007 for Democratic candidates up and down the ballot.
Okay, now where did we leave off? I think it was, yeah. So you're next, sorry. Apologize. As chair of the Democratic Party, you will be the de facto head of all the campaigns that happen in Harris County after the Democratic primary. And you will also be the head of lobbying for all Democratic legislation pushed by Democrats in Austin and Washington, D.C. that affect Harris County. So the question is, please explain what experience you have that would lead us to believe that you can monitor over 100 political campaigns in Harris County and be the chief spokesperson for municipal, county, state, and federal legislation that affect Harris County.
Well, I'm experienced in motivational speaking, so I most definitely am out in the community, hands-on, raising money, building the dream, actually. So I do go out, my experience comes in, I've done many political campaigns, I spearheaded several judges, and also raised money. I don't think it'll be a problem for me because this is something I'm used to doing, and at the end of the day, it's about making money and making sure that we have the finances to do what we need to do in this office. So I'm overqualified as far as the money goes.
As a union organizer, that is what we did. We lobbied, we went to the Capitol, we set up the legislative meetings, we organized campaigns locally, we worked with those organizations, we worked with local organizations, we worked with the people who were running for office. So I feel like my experience as a union organizer, because that is what we did, would qualify me to do so.
100 campaigns need to follow the rules. That's clearly something that they're responsible for, but our job, my job, would be to make sure I have the right people monitoring that. But I'll tell you something very specifically. Since I've started practice as a trial lawyer, the Republicans have been trying to kill me off. So I've got a lot of experience, not just lobbying, but testifying in the legislature, dealing on the national level, because they've been trying to get me for a long time. So they're not any different than what they're trying to do to us now as a party.
I have experience running campaigns. I was also a candidate for the state office, and I have handled several campaigns where I have coordinated every aspect of it. Besides that, on the lobbying side, I have lobbied for several issues for reproductive rights, for immigration rights, and for workers' rights. I have been in Washington, D.C., and I have been also at the state level lobbying several times.
Okay, next question is to you. Republicans in Harris County have mastered the template of winning school board elections all over Harris County. From that pool of elected officials, they often choose the next candidate for higher level of office, like State House representative. Meanwhile, they also set the political agenda at the grassroots level by banning books, preventing children from hearing books read by drag queens, preventing the most vulnerable people in our community from choosing to use the restroom that makes them feel safest, and prevent critical thinking about race, gender, and socioeconomic class in our classrooms. Under your administration, will school board races matter?
You have 30 seconds.
Yeah, every.
Thanks. Every race matters, particularly those races that we can attack without raising huge money and where voters care directly when we talk to them, because we're dead right on every issue on education, including, but not limited to, what they're trying to do to HISD.
Yes, I think those are important races, and I think that we have to follow the model of Pasadena ISD. In Pasadena ISD, we got this young, vibrant teacher who was elected, and now we have more young youth running for that, young teachers that know what it takes and what they need and what their students need. We need to ensure that we have people running on every school election that is progressive and that can really help us to cultivate the candidates for the future.
Yes, it does matter. I think there should be in HISD certain guidelines that would allow us to make changes and try to do something that's different. At the end of the day, no matter what color, shape, size, or height you come in, we are all one, and everything should be focused on making our community better and trying to get to where we need to go.
Okay, next question. The Texas Democratic Party, not to throw them under the bus, has not been able to coordinate the major counties of Texas. As the largest county in Texas, should Harris County take the lead in organizing the state of Texas? And what experience do you have in working with Democrats from places like Dallas, San Antonio, El Paso, the Rio Grande Valley, and whatnot? 30 seconds.
No, I mean, by the way, I love this format, that's my time. I don't think that Harris County ought to take over the state. I think we ought to lead the state. Now, obviously that means coordinating with the counties, particularly around us. I think by showing best practices that we know how to do things, other counties will follow us, and that'll help the state.
I think that we need to work with all the Democratic counties that are being successful, and we need to ensure that we learn from them and that we share what works for us. Of course, first we have to put our house in order, and then we can think about moving out, because at the moment we need to focus on improving the situation of the party here in Harris County.
I don't think that Harris County should lead. I think that we can follow in regards to trying to establish at some point what we need to do. We need to reorganize and to kind of restructure what we have in place. If it's not working, we need to change that.
I do have experience organizing all over the state of Texas. I have organized in Corpus Christi, in Laredo. I've organized in Dallas. I've organized in San Antonio, and all of these smaller rural areas in between. I believe that Harris County, being as large as it is, should set the tone for the rest of the state, and that is the reason why Republicans are attacking Harris County right now.
Okay, for the next question, let me let the online audience and the audience assembled hear a little bit of facts about Harris County. Harris County is so large in population that there are between 25 and 27 states in the country that are smaller in population than we are. They each have 2 senators, they each have at least 1 congressperson. That gives them, let's say, 3 electoral college votes, and if you do that math, you see that in small states, they have 3 electoral college votes per congressional district. In Texas, we have 38 congressional districts and the 2 Senate seats. That's 40 electoral college votes, but we have 30 million people. They have, per person, a much larger voice in national politics. But there's good news. Here in Harris County, we have multiple congressional seats, multiple state Senate seats, multiple state Board of Education seats, over 20 plus state House representative seats. We actually have 1 out of every 5 Democratic votes in the state of Texas in a normal election year. And that's leaving a lot of votes on the table. If we were to increase our vote count in Harris County, we could be the thing that puts us into the blue status forever and ever as a state. And in fact, East Texas, and not just lower southeast Texas, but all of East Texas combined, used to be the powerhouse of the state. That's why Ann Richards got elected, and people before her were all Democrats. There are a lot of people in this room who remember the Democratic Texas. And we can go back there if we organize. So that is the power of Harris County. And therefore, my question, if Harris County turns out a Democratic vote with enough gusto, Texas Electoral College vote would go blue, and no Electoral College map, no map, would allow the Republicans to win the presidential seat ever again. You can applaud that. So Democrats can win the presidency without Texas, but Republicans cannot. And Harris County has the power to do that. With that in mind, here's the question. How do you plan to use that leverage in Washington, D.C. to convince the National Democratic Party to spend some more, you-know-what, money and time and energy and other resources here in Harris County? All right.
We first have to show that we have a plan and that we have a transparent budget, that we know what we need to do to get it done. Once we can show that we are organized enough and that we are going to utilize all the money in the most efficient way, I think that we will be able to convince the national community to give us money to help us achieve the goal.
I feel, in my opinion, is that once we structure the organization of going out and trying to find out where are the votes not being counted for or where are we lacking in, we need to reach out to that community, those people, that certain age group, because there's a reason why the numbers are low. Most young people at the end of the day don't feel like their votes even matter. So we need to try to reconstruct, reorganize, and get into their world, because they're the next it. We here, but they're the next it.
I feel like Harris County already has a great structure. I think that our organizing needs to be stronger from the bottom up. And I think that we should take that into consideration and just ask for what we want. They know the same facts that that we all know, is that Harris County is important. We set the tone. We are here. Give it to us. We just need to ask for it and tell them what we're going to do with those funds.
I found that what I do for a living, it's better not to just blow smoke and say, hey, this is going to be all right. So here's two things that need to happen right away. One is we need to get our financial house in order. It's not good. That's just a fact. And second, once we actually show them, hey, we got these great potential, but we're doing it, which tells me it's going to have to be after we do an incredible job in 2024, they'll help us then. But they're not going to bail us out until we help ourselves.
Okay, next. In any organization, the number one indicator of success is training. What experience do you have providing training for large groups of people?
My structure and organization would come at least about 15 years into training. I've trained at the Houston Police Department. Also, I'm a private investigator, so I've done training extensively as far as in the field. I think it'll be a great thing to get training. Then that way, everybody is able to be on one accord and make things happen. So without training, there is no leadership. Like, we have to actually have modules to go by, and then it'll happen.
So as an organizer, I did train all over Texas. I did trainings on organizing. I did trainings on policies and procedures. I did trainings on student loan forgiveness all over the state. Training is not an issue for me because it's a part of what I do.
I'm a professor. I've been teaching at Texas Southern. I taught at U of H. I just finished last weekend running a program for 150 lawyers. I've been doing that for decades. That's something that's a passion for me. I mean, I was first my family to college, and what that told me is, you got to school them.
I have trained volunteers to help people with immigration issues, but I don't think that can be compared to what we need to do at the party level. But what I know is that I have already reached out to labor. You know, labor is one of the great tools that the party has. I had the honor to be endorsed by the AFL-CIO, and they are willing and ready to come in and help us with the training for the precinct chairs. Alan Goodman is doing this wonderful job with the precinct chairs, and I want to increase it.
Last Friday night, as I mentioned earlier, the Young Democrats of Harris County had an excellent forum. Shout out to them one more time. You can clap, that's okay. But one audience question stuck out in my brain, and it was about hiring professionals. And the two people that were there from this panel said that you would both be interested in hiring professionals for the top key roles, especially executive director, and even mentioned things like director of communications. If that's the case, you're going to have professionals doing those roles. Please tell me what you think the role of the county chair, the volunteer county chair, should actually be. She just started? Yes, that's back there.
Can you repeat that question one more time?
What should be the role of the volunteer county chair? If you're gonna advocate for a separate paid staff and a separate volunteer chair, what is the role of the chair?
I myself would not advocate for paid positions. I think that the county chair would be able to handle the responsibilities of the party as one person representing the entire party of Harris County.
We've had we need and have had paid staff, professional staff. We need to have the highest quality staff to meet the county we are. And so my job is to make sure we have the right people doing the right job, whether it's professional or volunteer, and make sure they're kind of doing what they need to be doing. That's what you're supposed to do as party chair. You're not going to do everything. You can't.
So I believe we have to have a communication expert, a professional that is able to deliver the message. But the county chair has to ensure that we fundraise enough. It has to ensure that the primaries are run correctly. It has to ensure that the precinct chairs are trained and that the vacancy chairs can fill out those vacancy positions on the precinct level. And of course, work with the clubs and engage different areas of the party so that we can work together.
I believe in that we should go out into the communities because it's all about when you do accept this position, you have to be a people's person. That's rule number one. Number two, you have to go out into the communities, and it's not about us. It's about trying to see what do the community need. How can we make this better? What roles do we need to play in? So look for qualified, experienced people also, but people that want to volunteer, because those people matter. They're giving up their time for free. They basically want to help, and that's what we're looking for, people that have a heart for the city.
Okay, for this next question, we want to pool a little on your personalities and get to know you a little bit better. All of you have experience in the world of politics, and as you know, if you've been in politics for a little while, you collect stories from the field. So without throwing anybody under the bus or naming anybody at all, please don't use names, tell us a horror story from the campaign trail. and for this one, I'm going to give you 1 minute. Give us a good story. Let's find out who you are.
Let's just pretend that there were campaigns that didn't think crime was an issue to Harris County voters in every single community. Let's just pretend that they let the Republicans dominate the airwaves and make that the issue that's about crime. It's about, look, there's crime everywhere, there's stolen cars everywhere, you're in danger everywhere, and don't deal with it. And just pretend like people, well, not pretend, look at national polls that suggest that Democrats don't really care about it, that our voters don't care about crime, and then see what happens.
At the personal level, I had uploaded all the tours for the Saturday morning walkers, and they were all ready, and it was a very hot summer day. And when they were already there, minivan wasn't working because I hadn't uploaded correctly. So, and I wasn't at my house or at a place that I had actually reliable internet, so I had to do it on the trunk of my car, and the candidate was really upset, almost having a nervous breakdown, and I had to fix it at that very moment, and I remember that pressure, and I haven't forgot it yet.
Well, I'm a people's person, so I am out in the community quite a bit. I was campaigning because I've done poll, I've done the phone calls, the phone bank, I've done it all. And so I would go in to drop off the literature, you know, to push who we want to win. We would push the candidate. I went into a restaurant once before and they were basically cleaning up and it was backed up. And they was like, well, you brought carts in here, do you plan on helping us? And I was like, huh? And they was like, yeah, you plan on helping us, you bringing carts into the community, you want our vote, what are you gonna do to help us? And I'm like, okay, you know what? I went to my car, I changed shoes, I started washing the dishes in the restaurant, I wiped the floors, I mopped, I did everything, and people was coming in like, you work here, but what you have to understand is to be a leader, you must follow. You have to follow first, and then once you follow the directions, then you become who you need to be. So never be afraid to just be who you are. If you love people, then help them. If you're not going to help, you're in the wrong business. This is about people.
So my story isn't quite a funny story, it's more of a horror story. There's been several occasions while out doing grassroots organizing for campaigns here in Harris County, in the most diverse county in Texas, where I have been racially profiled, followed by the police and asked why I am in certain neighborhoods. I've been followed for blocks. I have been pulled over and asked what I'm doing there. It's not fun, it's not good, and if we can get out and organize and bring more unity and synergy into this party, things like that would not be happening, and people wouldn't have to worry about, well, I want to work on a campaign, I want to help out with this, I want to help out with that, but what are the effects of that going to be? Am I going to be followed? Am I going to be profiled? We don't want that.
Okay, let's go to the positive side of that. You have 1 minute. Tell us an experience on a campaign, whether they won or lost, doesn't matter, that you felt a moment of joy.
It actually was with the precinct chair selection. I had never experienced that when it was the election when Al Franco Lee had passed and the new Court 507 had been created. It was a very good experience to be there working that campaign, one of the campaigns, and seeing the process work. Is seeing that then the runoffs and they had to negotiate and make alliances at that very moment. That caucus was really a moment that stuck in my on me, because it's a process that is very interesting, and I think everybody should have at least one time to experience it.
I've worked with several judges and people that ran for certain offices, and it's a good and a bad and the ugly story to every last one of them. But the good thing is that even if they didn't win, I encouraged them to keep on going. And so on the next campaign they did win, so 5 out of 6 won, 1 didn't win. I encouraged him to keep on going, and then he did go again and he won, so never give up.
Thank you. In addition to being a precinct chair here in Harris County, I also work elections. And I think that my most rewarding moments come from working the polls and seeing the turnout and seeing how happy people are just to be there and seeing how excited people are just to get a sticker that says I voted.
It hasn't always been easy to be a Democrat in Harris County. It hasn't even been popular all the time. But my best memory, I still think about it every now and again, my now campaign treasurer, Reginald McCamey, ran for judge in 1998. And he had an event that I begged people to show up for over at Cody's, which was in Rice Village. And he got Sheila Jackson Lee to give an incredible speech. And he had the DJ started Ain't No Stopping Us Now. And I will tell you, that moment of joy thinking about Reginald just standing up and doing it, and I was so proud to be supporting him, and it was one of those things that I just will carry with me till the day I die.
Okay, back to 30-second questions if everybody's ready. In November, the Texas Organizing Project, known as TOP, made just over 300,000 live phone calls on election day and actually connected with over 80,000 people who had not yet voted. We won our key Democratic race for county judge by just over 15,000 votes. Is it time for the Democratic Party to start helping facilitate partnerships with outside organizations like Swinging Left, Moms Demand Action, Planned Parenthood, and more? And what experience do you have with outside organizations? 30 seconds.
I think it would be good to organize and become affiliated with other programs. The reason why is because they have different tools and different, I want to say tools, because they have different means of connecting with other people. So it would be the means. But I work with bands, I work with Marine Toys for Tots. We give away children toys to the low income areas every year. I'm a part of Healing the Family Inc. that we go and give food every Thursday and just keep on going.
I'm currently a longtime member of Moms Demand Action for Gun Sense. I am also a member of Moms Against Greg Abbott. As a union organizer, part of what we do is facilitate relationships between candidates, between community members and community organizations to work together to get things done. And it has to be done that way.
We need to work with all our friends, all our allies, people that we don't necessarily agree with on everything, because we need to build up the Democratic Party, and that takes all hands on deck. I've been directly involved as president of Houston Trial Lawyers. While there, very specific example, 2007, we started a 7th Amendment PAC that put in good money for targeted supporting Ravi Sandel, among other Asian American candidates, and drove up the actual appearance 6%.
Well, the collaboration already started, but we have to grow it, and we have to ensure that these organizations want to continue working with us, and we need to make sure that we all coordinate with them, with labor, with TOP, with the different PACs that we can actually tap into the resources that we can use, and of course coordinate with the precinct chairs work and the clubs work.
Along those lines, within the Democratic Party of Harris County, there are around 30 official clubs and organizations. What role should they play in the Harris County Democratic Party?
The clubs are part of the backbone of the Harris County Democratic Party. Again, if we're working together, all as one unit, we can get things done. They are the voice of the people, and those people and those clubs represent the population of Harris County. So yes, they are key to winning elections. They are key to organizing. They are the key to unity in this county.
We have both clubs and precinct chairs in areas where the clubs aren't as active. We need them both. We need to support our precinct chairs everywhere. We need to support the clubs in what they're doing. I will say one of the clubs, Harris County Democratic Lawyers, I've been president for the last several years, they're the ones that are out there on voter protection out there when they're showing up to bully folks at the polls. That's kind of a different skill set, but every single club needs to work together along with precinct chairs together to actually do our job of getting out voters.
The role of the clubs is to engage the community and to actually get them excited. And you know, the clubs were an essential part of this last election, and I think that we need to encourage the clubs to continue doing their work and ensure that they do have the budget to do that work. And of course, the precinct chairs. The precinct chairs are the ones that are able to touch the neighborhoods, are the ones that really know their community, and we need to ensure they have the tools needed to.
The clubs are very important. They're kind of like the sources of the backbone. So they get out and do all of the leg work for you while you shine and look good. They're the ones that's beating the street, beating the doors down. The clubs are very, very important. So I think that we should stay connected to them because they're sources. Everyone has a different source. And when you get all those sources together, they can become one.
Harris County is one of, if not the most diverse counties in all of the United States. But the Democratic Party website here is all in English only. Tell me again about how minorities don't vote and how we've tried everything to contact them.
30 seconds, sorry. Yeah, very good point. That's why, 14 years ago we did mail-outs in Hindi, Urdu, Mandarin, and Vietnamese. I get it. We are a diverse county. That's incredible strengths for us, and we need to speak to them. And one of the things that I know for a fact that we could do for like almost no money, Lunar New Year, there's all these online news sites that if you put up a little ad saying, we in the Democratic Party are here for you, that's $25. That's a missed opportunity every single event.
Well, it's important to do outreach on every language that we can, especially in Harris County where there are multiple languages spoken. I have had the opportunity to do a lot of phone banking in Spanish, and I have really enjoyed those conversations because people get excited about getting a call in their own language. So I think that it's important that we engage the community in their own language and that the party has campaign materials and the website in different languages.
I think it's very important for the Harris County to structure or go back and reconstruct actually bilingual. I think it's very important. I actually been speaking Spanish since the 6th grade. So I was bilingual at the Houston Police Department for 5 years, but it's very important because while we're making the phone calls and doing the door knocking, if you don't speak Spanish, you've just lost a potential voter. So it's very, very important that we focus on trying to get that language like a majority of it spoken, because sometimes we're gonna miss out.
Harris County is the county of diversity. We do have groups and clubs and organizations here in this county that cover and focus on different groups that are diverse. Maybe the precinct chair should work with those particular groups to develop a message that comes from that group directed at that segment of the population so that they understand that, yes, we're not overlooking you, we're including you, we want you, we need you. Let's work together, let's be great.
Okay, as the head of the party, you're going to be asked to be interviewed at CNN and whatnot. So right now you have been given 30 seconds of airtime on the topic of climate change. 30 seconds. Sylvia, you start.
Well, it's important. Climate change is something that really concerns all of us. And we need to ensure that we work to make our children's lives safer. When we address climate change, we are addressing it not only for us, but for the generations to come. And we need to really have programs like recycling and planting trees and teaching the kids to don't use disposable items.
Climate change is very important as for humans as individuals, so we need to really focus on going back and then finding out how can we survive and change with the times, because everything is changing so quick. I'm just thinking about even the COVID era just coming in and taking over and taking out people. We have to adapt to change.
Climate change is not fake news, number one. It is a real thing. It is scientific. We need to have programs around the community for free to educate the members of our community on what climate change is and how it is so important. Climate change has affected our weather, even here in Harris County in the last 2 years. I can't even grow my garden in the backyard anymore. We have got fires and hurricanes, and we've got all of this flooding in diverse places.
Harris County, Houston is the energy capital of the world. The only thing that's stopping us from becoming the non-fossil fuel energy capital of the world too is Republicans in Congress and in our state that are blocking efforts to turn to alternative energy, that are going to create the jobs for our kids, that are going to create the businesses for our people. That's what we need right now is people that are looking at the future and not trying to hang on to the past, because we've got big problems, and one of them is these folks in Congress, Republicans, that are blocking our future.
Okay, next issue. Same idea, you're on television, you've been asked about the Texas Education Agency taking over the Houston ISD schools. 30 seconds. Sure. Texas Education Agency taking over Houston schools. Austin taking over Houston schools.
And you want to know how I feel about that?
You have 30 seconds.
Okay. I feel about them coming in to take over HISD. First and foremost, I found it kind of disappointing. The reason why I found it disappointing is because if everyone was doing their job, no one would have to come in. So if they have to come in and make changes, then sometimes change is good. What we want to look for is a better outcome. So if that's them coming in and us getting a better outcome, it's okay with me.
Harris County can take care of Harris County. I feel like the State Department coming in to take over the education system of Harris County is just another Republican ploy to make our county look bad, because we are the biggest, best Democratic county in the state of Texas. So attack after attack after attack on our judges, on our population, on our polling locations, on everything they can think of, because when we come to the next election cycle, they're trying to make the public lose faith in who we are.
Well, reactions, please.
By the way, it's not that Republicans don't have emotions, they just don't have a heart.
No reactions, please.
No reactions. Greg Abbott and Dan Patrick do not care about our kids in HISD. They're not trying to help them. They're trying to take over, to eventually do what happened in New Orleans, what happened in Detroit, what happened in Philly, is privatize. And all that means is our kids are going to end up back of the row again and again, and the kids that need their help are going to get left in the dust. And that's what this is all about.
You don't have to fix it if it's not broken. HISD has a rating of B+. And the governor shouldn't be trying to get involved into HISD. The governor should be concerned about fixing all the things that he has broken, like the electrical grid. And we need to make sure that we tell all the mothers to come out and defend the kids, because the minority children, the black and brown children that attend HISD are the ones that are going to hurt the most.
I know, I'm sorry. Okay, next question. You are the expert on any one topic you want to talk about. You have 30 seconds. Change our mind on something.
It's hard to make Democrats change their minds because we're already basically on the same page. I just want to talk about organizing this county for the greater good of Harris County and for the Democratic Party. Let's get out, let's turn our precinct chairs into activists. Let's turn those activists into activist committees. Let's turn those activist committees into strong precincts. Let's take those strong precincts and spread those across and be a strong county unit and take over this community and this county.
I've actually found it's a lot easier to lead people where they want to go. And so here's where I want to suggest that you're going to go and you want to go. And that is spending time over the last several weeks. I've heard plenty of problems we've had, problems with this side or this or whatever. But here's where I know in our heart we all need to go. We need to work together, no matter what differences we've had in the past, what differences we have now. We need to work together. And that's something that we haven't done.
We all have a common goal, which is to turn Texas blue. We have to remember that we all have to work together, that we have to see past our differences. That we have to realize that we all have more in common than what makes us different. Even if we sound different, we we actually are the same. We have the same goal, which is to turn Texas blue. We need to start by working and ensuring that the precinct chairs have all the tools needed.
I think we need to all focus on setting aside, like he said previously, our differences and come together, focus on what the goal is, and then make the difference. We're looking for results. You don't need another speech, you don't need someone to pump up you anymore. We just need to change. And that's why we're here, we're running to make change.
The next question is one you probably never heard done at a forum or debate before. Would that pique your interest? Okay, so do all 4 of the candidates have your cell phones with you? Okay, can you get your cell phone here? They can be brought to you. Okay, while that's happening, I'm going to read through the question. Please turn off the mics from up here. For this question, maybe just turn off the mics for a second. This is called the Rolodex test. One very important role of the party chair is working with elected officials. You now have 3 minutes to call any elected official currently in office, get them on the phone, and get them to say hi to our audience. You have 3 minutes, and while you're doing that, I'm going to talk to the audience. You can stand up and walk around, go to the hallway and beg and plead, do whatever you need to do. In 3 minutes, I'm going to call you back, and let's see what happens.
Oh man, that's tough. That is a bad one.
So while that's happening, remember to turn in your audience questions. Their index cards, young Dems, if you want to stand up and walk around, wave your index cards in the air. I know we have several questions already starting to come in. They're being fed to me, by the way, on my iPad from the table over there.
Yes, I can.
Any elected official, it doesn't matter, as long as they were on the ballot at some point and they're currently holding that office. And so, please, audience, no emotions, no reactions, no help. They've got to do this on their own. Please sit down and allow them to accomplish this task on their own. And so, yeah, please sit down. We don't need anybody coming up here. It's up to the candidates to prove their Rolodex.
Yeah, it's at an angle. That's why. I have accents.
Again, the power of tonight's decision is very important, but it's only going to happen on March 19th. All of you who are precinct chairs must be there. You must exist on that meeting. If there's no quorum, we've got to wait till the next CEC, which is 3 months from now. You must be there March 19th, and I realize it's the end of Texas spring break, and it's going to be hard on a lot of people. I think there's going to be an online Zoom option. I think that's pretty much all online. It's only on Zoom, so you should be able to see it from Tahiti or wherever you are on vacation. Jump online. It's very important. There has to be a quorum. And I think right now the Secretary of State said that there are 509 registered precinct chairs in Harris County, so we need 50% plus 1 to make a quorum. It's very important. March 19th. Check your emails and your Facebooks and all that, however you're regularly contacted by the party, to make sure what time and what the Zoom link looks like, but make sure to be there. I hope you're enjoying the debate. I hope you realize that some of these questions are meant to be interesting and entertaining, and some of them are meant to be a little bit thought-provoking. And hopefully you're starting to make up your mind about one or more of these candidates. And I'm going to give them all 1 more minute, because I don't think anybody has it up, but I have a plan for that, which is not a problem. So please keep trying. Please keep trying. What's going to happen is during the audience questions, if one of your people call you back, just raise your hand, and we'll stop what we're doing and let them say hi to the audience. And so.
Hi, Judge Malcolm. This is Sylvia Mills. I have you
make sure you have permission before you bring my mic up.
Yes, so can you say hello? Thank you. Oh, Judge Lawton, you're on speakerphone. Hello?
Okay, great. Yeah, you want me to?
Hello? Oh, I think that.
Go ahead, I'll talk some more.
Okay.
Thank you so much. Thank you all.
Okay, so I see that Mike also called you, but you're on a speakerphone.
You're very popular, by the way.
Yes.
Good evening, everybody. I'm actually very honored that we even get this call from both Sylvia and Michael.
Just tell us your name.
This is just Evan.
Go ahead, Judge, please. Yes.
Hi, everybody. This is Judge Audrey Los Evans. How are you guys doing today? Not only is it International Women's Day, right? So I want you guys to give it up to all the women that are in the crowd. Give yourselves a round of applause.
Okay. You get what you get when you ask a politician to get on. Are you ready?
Hi guys, I have Judge Detroit Davis, court number 270, District Civil Court. If you could say hello to the people.
Hello. This is Judge Davis.
Thank you. Okay, 2 down, 2 to go. And we'll go ahead and start asking the audience questions now. Oh, are you ready?
Yeah, Judge, you there? Okay, 06. All right, go ahead and introduce yourself.
Hi everyone, this is Christy Lees. I'm judge of the 281st Civil District Court. I'm so sorry I'm not there with you. I'm actually in South Carolina at a Montreal Charter of Students trying to make lawyers even better. So thank you all so much for what you do. It is so greatly appreciated. We cannot get elected without y'all. So thank you all so much for all your hard work.
Thank you so much, Judge.
Okay, I'm going to go on to the next question. It's okay, whenever you're ready, just raise your hand. That's okay. All right. First audience question. Please explain, and I think it's, right now it's to you, Sylvia. So, please explain your voter protection plan.
Well, I met with Nicole Peterson, who is over election protection, and we had over 200 poll watchers this last time. But what we need is to have protection over the election workers and ensure that we have enough people working at the voting locations so that we don't have issues where we don't have enough people, or we have people who are not don't feel confident to fight about their rights and the law.
On the voter plan, we need to most definitely have enough people lined up in order to protect the people's votes, to also explain, because when I'm going to the polls, sometimes you have to read and they don't understand and they don't comprehend. So we need people there to be able to explain the voting procedure.
We need people at every location who are watching our polls, who are able to report directly to someone else, who can get the job done. I've actually had an issue at one of my polling locations, and I called downtown, I reported it, they reported it to our legal team, but we need more people because intimidation tactics in this county are very real.
There's 2 parts of it. There's kind of what I call game day, and that's making sure that Nicole Peterson, folks in the boiler room are ready, and that the precinct chairs are ready for what's going to happen. The other part of it ought to be happening like kind of next month, and that is when we're going out and doing voter registration, there's 51 bills that they're messing with, how you're going to vote, where you can vote. They're trying to take away voting at schools because it's dangerous. Well, why is that? Including at Texas Southern. So actually educating the voters on how they need to vote, how they do it the correct way.
Okay, then. The next question, actually, before I ask the specific question, reminds us about the lawsuit that's going on in Harris County. And I was reminded earlier tonight that tonight is the last time that you can donate to the judges. So before you walk out of here, at least give them $5 and something. So judges, are there any judges in the room tonight that are part of that lawsuit that want to stand up? If y'all want to come to the front of the room real quick, I'm going to give you all that. Come up to the front, all of you judges, or anybody here who's involved in that lawsuit, please come forward. These are the people you need to look for. Go give them your money. Just wave one more time, and thank you all very much for everything y'all are doing for us. So the question is, and the question starts over there, and it just went up on me. Let's see here. Under your leadership, let's see, how will you respond to these frivolous election denying lawsuits and claims from Dr. Hines and all those people, Hoaxie and all these people, Mattress Mac? How do you respond as a Democratic Party chair? What is your responsibility? How do you respond?
Me as a Democrat, I would probably respond by letting my attorney do that. I don't want to say the wrong thing, so I have to tread lightly, but I will most definitely let them take care of that, most definitely.
I would definitely make a public declaration that we are tired of being messed with, we're tired of being bullied. It just doesn't end, it doesn't stop, especially with Mattress Matt, who pretended to be the savior of the low-income community. I'm so upset about that, and we need to be vocal, we need to speak out, and that's a problem with our loyalty to our party right now, is that people feel like Democrats are wavering, they don't speak up about issues, they don't say what they mean and mean what they say, but I definitely say what I mean.
No reaction, Steve, no reaction.
I mean, look at these folks. There's two things. One is the practical, and that is get our defense organized, coordinated. In other words, get the folks making it the most efficient way to do it so these judges are protected. But here's the real opportunity. These are great judges doing their jobs, and this is about folks who intentionally filed on January 6th to attack the justice system, to attack the voting system, to attack every citizen in Harris County who filled in a ballot and elected these folks with junk.
But we will, I will ensure that they know that we don't want any mini Trumps in Harris County. And be proactive on the messaging, and also ensure that our legal team is working with the judges and that the judges have the support of the party. You know, these judges cannot pay, I cannot take pro bono lawyers, they have to pay on their own. So, and if the party was in a different situation, probably the party could help with some of, to alleviate some of those expenses.
Okay, next audience question is ahead of the November election a few months ago. It was a very tough and contentious race, especially here in Harris County. What did you do? What did you, we're starting right up, that's why I'm looking at you, sorry.
I became a precinct chair, and I started making phone calls and contacting the people that lived in my neighborhood and tell them to get out and vote Democrat.
I started a long time before November. I was helping organize support for judges, helping fundraise for them, but more importantly, the folks that were actually helping the protection, that's the Nicole Peterson, those groups, coordinating those to make sure that we had those resources and the lawyers to go out and do that. Dead on.
I haven't stopped working for the party since 2007, but on the last election, I block walk, I text, I logged my office so that people could come and phone bank. I did phone banking too, and I went to put signs up. I worked the election polls the day of the election, and I went to meet people at the immigration areas where they are brand new citizens who are newly eligible to vote.
I did fundraisers to become more political involved in it. I ran fundraisers, I did events, I ran the bands program, the cold calling. We also did door knocking, passing out the literature. We would also go up there to the polls and pass the literature out there. So just heavily involved in the community and getting the community to be a part of it, because that's where your vote is going to matter.
On a similar notion, next audience question. You all say that you're going to raise a lot of money for the party when you become chair. How much money did you raise towards the November election? Mike?
At least 100,000 for Democrats up and down that I was raising, organizing, not just me.
I would say that yes, at least 100,000 for local candidates and for a statewide candidate.
I raised 100,000. I had 6 candidates on my to raise the money for. So I most definitely raised 75,000 for their campaigns.
I was not working for a campaign at the time, so I did not do any fundraising for the campaign.
Sylvia? Next question from the community. If you are not successful in your run for county party chair, are you still going to care enough about the county party to raise money for us this year?
Of course, I've been raising money for Democratic candidates since a long time, and my commitment to the party doesn't stop because I'm not elected chair. I have served the party as volunteer. Politics is something that I enjoy, and the Democratic Party is something that I love. And I will continue to give, I will continue to fundraise, I will continue to volunteer and to be active, because I want to see the Democrats succeed.
Regardless of change, if I was to receive the office or not, I still will continue my goal. I still raise money, I still volunteer, and I'll still continue to do what needs to be done. It doesn't matter if I'm in office or not. I still have a job to do, and that's to make sure that we succeed.
If I am not elected, I am still a precinct chair, I am still an election worker, I am still a worker in my community. So I will do everything I can to help ensure that Democrats win in the next election.
I've been doing voter protection for decades. I've been raising money for friends. I mean, I like and trust these people, and I'm not going to let them down. I also know that folks count on me to help them decide, look, who do you trust? And that's not something I'm going to ever give up.
Next audience question. Young people are our future. How do you propose to support the young Dems and college Dems? And keep in mind, they're right here, so they'll remember your words tonight.
Well, in the beginning, I did state that we most definitely need to take a look at the new millennials, because they are the next in charge. And so I would put a lot of effort and money behind them, training them, teaching them so they don't make the same mistakes that we've made as older people. So I'm most definitely 100% behind them. I would support them, and I hope change will come.
The millennial and Gen Z voting bloc will be equal to the older voters in the 2024 presidential election, and in the next presidential election, they will be the majority. They are where we need to focus most of our energy. We need to talk to them about their concepts, their ideas. How do they want to organize? Because we need to organize the younger voters. That is where we really need to focus to win elections moving forward.
I actually spent the time talking to the young Dems about that. And here's what I hear, and hopefully I'm saying it right. Y'all need to be recognized in the party. You need to be part of our activities. We need to understand that, you know, you're the person power on the streets, that you can be there, that you need to have the resources, and it's not a huge amount, to make sure that your club, your activities are something that Democrats on campus want to be part of.
I will institute a mentorship program so that they can prepare with leaders of the party. I will make sure that they are invited to the leadership programs that the party has, and so that they can take advantage of that leadership program. And then I will ensure that they have a list of speakers that can come to the campuses to speak and to support their group. And of course, that they have a budget for their pizza and whatever they need for their meetings.
Okay, next, people are interested in schools again. So how should HCDP, Harris County Democratic Party, support local school board candidates, keeping in mind that there are a couple of dozen school districts in Harris County? And so how should HCDP play a role in supporting those candidates?
Well, we do need to try to raise money for them, but I think even without raising money, we can block walls, we can phone bank, we can do the groundwork in order to get those candidates elected. It's not always about money. It's all about action, and action is free.
You know, last year I spent some time talking with Representative John Rosenthal about this exact issue in his district and what was going on with some really wingnuts and what they were doing and trying to do in the school. And our people on the ground, the precinct chairs, they're the folks there that know their neighborhood. And this is the perfect opportunity to engage their precinct members in something that they all desperately care about right now.
Yes, the precinct chairs are the backbone of the party, and if they have the training needed to be successful, they can actually engage the neighborhoods and support these candidates. And then we need to ensure that every Democrat knows that those races are important so that they can donate money to them so that they can run a successful campaign.
The campaigns that I've worked in previously or in the past, no, money was not the whole focus, but it was a necessity. You had people coming from all around volunteering and using their gas money and time, so they need to be compensated. So I would do something and raise some type of funds just because they're coming out spending their time and they're not charging you per hour because the work has to be done.
Along those lines, and this is going to have to be the last question, unfortunately, before we do closing statements and close out the meeting, and it seems to be a similar thing. And in fact, I'll throw in my little extra to this. Last night there was a forum in Humble for the Humble ISD, and I heard that some of the candidates were literally advocating, of course you've heard before, putting all guns in all the teachers' hands, but one of them was advocating taking computers out of the schools because they were so afraid of pornography. And they were, they just listed their banned books last week. They just banned The Hobbit from Humble ISD. So the question here along those lines is, how do we vet that many candidates before we endorse them and choose to throw our support behind them?
That's a really good question. I think that if we have a system where they can say immediately if they're going to run, that they're going to run, we can start the conversations then. We can find out what they stand for then. We can decide who we want to back then, and then we can back them.
Yeah, we have the Senate districts in place already. That's a really good purpose. In other words, they're the ones that are going to know the local people. They're going to know who should be supported and who shouldn't. We have the apparatus in place. It's a perfect opportunity for us as Democrats to start working the ground and working these issues.
Well, if we are cultivating the candidates and ensuring that they come out from our leadership programs, that then we will have an easier time bettering them. And then, of course, we have the neighborhoods that are getting organized. The precinct chairs. I was in Cypher on Sunday, and there was a lady very active with PAC for the Cypher school to ensure that we have progressive, good elected on the boards, and that's what we need to do.
As a candidate, I think if we develop and use the structure, then we can probably go in and monitor things the way it should be. Without monitoring, then you just leave it wide open. So if you want to, everything civilized, just kind of monitor it and then develop a structure so it can go as planned.
Okay, as promised, we're getting close to the end of the event. I'm going to give you each 2 minutes And if you would like, you can come to the podium and stand in front of everybody to give your 2-minute closing, 2-minute closing speech. I know, I did promise at the beginning 2 minutes closing speeches. Everybody they did not have an opening speech, so we're going to give them 2 minutes now, and I think it starts with you. Yep.
Thank you, Jaime. Thank you all for being here. And thank you all out there on Facebook. So here's what it comes down to from my perspective. I'm a trial lawyer. I've spent the last 2 days trying to make sure the Port of Houston doesn't run off and fire the entire union leadership, which they try to do. I've been fighting the same battles of the corporate affiliates of the Republican Party my entire professional life. That's what I've been doing. I was out in 2005 in a special election that put Ana Hernandez in her first House of Representatives seat out in Galena Park when block walking meant block walking. I've been working, trying to make sure the Democrats get elected successfully since 1998, a lot more successful afterwards. What I've been doing when I've been raising money for real candidates year after year is understand, and here's the reason I step forward. We have huge challenges, not just limited to this financial issue that y'all should be aware of if you're not. That's something that is incredibly important. I've got the tool set for that. But just as important, I know how to support precinct chairs and clubs because I've been engaged with these clubs. Art knows this. These things I've been doing for years. And I know those two things, we need someone who's already got right now the toolkit, the skills to actually deal with it. Because what I 100% know, and it wasn't just what Jaime talked about, we are going to fix Texas with Harris County, and we're going to fix the United States with Harris County. It all matters. Every single vote, every single thing you're doing out in the field, everything we got to be doing to support you matters. There's a reason why I'm doing it. There's a reason I'm asking for support, because it matters that much to me right now and going forward. Thank you.
Thank you for being here tonight. I came to the United States 25 years ago. I came to work as a janitor. Then I worked as a nanny while I went to school. I graduated as a lawyer in 2008. I'm not afraid of hard work. I'm ready to work hard for the party. I know that we have challenges, and I know that we need to fundraise. But also, we need somebody that knows how to lead, because that person has been in the trenches. I know many of you from being on the trenches. I have campaigned with you, I have walked with you, and I have worked really hard for the party since even before being a U.S. citizen. I know what it takes to lead the party, and I'm ready to do that. And I'm ready to ensure that the numbers in Harris County increase and that Texas becomes blue. I know that we need to engage different communities, and I'm ready to do that. And I also know that we need to put up a fight to the Republicans, that we need to frame the narrative, and we need to be proactive in the messaging. I'm ready to do that. I don't want to be on the defensive, and I don't want to spend another November worrying about whether the Democrats are going to lose. And that's why I'm running. I'm running because I want to make sure that we continue winning and that we are strong.
Hi, first and foremost, I want to thank you guys for coming out on tonight. I'm Dr. Charlie King Anderson, Charlotta, and I want to just take this time out to say that there'll be many faces even after mine coming in to apply for the positions or try to fill the positions, so it's going to look different. It's not going to be your average person that comes in and know everything right off the bat. If that's the case, then we wouldn't be here. So my job is to come in and change a couple of things up and just reconstructure. I'm not afraid of hard work. I most definitely get in the trenches, like she said, and I do give back to the community. I raise money. I most definitely want to take the time out and let you know that I am willing to work hard and go for what needs to be done. And it's not even about us that's sitting here. Of course, we can dress up really nice, get our hair done, put on a suit coat, and come before you, but that's not what it's about. It's about going back to the community where we grew up at and make that change, and I'm all about change, and I am looking forward to being your next chair.
Good evening, everyone. This is pretty much a David and Goliath story. I am on this stage with attorneys, and I am a union organizer. Why is it important that I'm a union organizer? It's because I know how to organize from the ground up. I know how to connect people with people. I know how to connect organizations with people. I know how to build communities. I represent Harris County. I was able to get a home here because of the Harris County Down Payment Assistance Program. I am a survivor of domestic violence. I am a Me Too survivor. I am the face of the community. And if I am elected, I am going to be the best, most outspoken, most forward person that can speak for this party ever. I will be in the trenches. I will teach those organizing classes. I will do everything it takes to make this party great and a success.
So I'm going to remind y'all, first of all, before I say thank you to everybody, I'm going to remind y'all in the audience, precinct chairs especially, as per the rules of the game, on March 19th, on the Zoom call, someone can still be nominated from the floor to earn this position. So although 4 brave souls stood up here today and were grilled by us, there is still potential for people to throw their hat in the ring. So just keep that in mind. But in the meantime, 4 brave souls did show up tonight and did, do it, and I think they all deserve a big round of applause. I think Harris County is going to be moving on going forward. And so with that, to the event, thank you all so much for coming. Like I said, March 19th.